Today we're going to talk about protein's role in helping you build and maintain muscle mass as you age, as well as how much you really need in order to do so. Now, when it comes to what will definitively maximize or minimize the speed and degree of the results that you can look forward to given the level of work that you put in with your workouts, diet is without a doubt your most important determining factor. When it comes to what your diet should look like, I focus at a baseline level on two fundamental questions. One, what's your ultimate goal with training? Is it building muscle? Is it leaning up? Is it a balance of both? Or is it maybe whatever it takes for you to lift the heaviest weights imaginable? Ultimately, your answer here will be a good indicator of what not only your workouts should look like, but your diet as well. And the next question, what's the main role that each macronutrient will play within that diet? Now, here's what we know about each of the macronutrients and the most important role they play inside your daily diet. Carbohydrates. They're your body's fastest and most efficient fuel source. They break down into the ATP your body needs to fuel contraction better and faster than either fats or proteins will. Fats or lipids, they help support proper cell function, act as a backup energy source, transport fat-soluble nutrients, and support hormonal balance and production throughout your body. And then there's protein. Its chief role is to be broken down into the amino acids that it's made up of and used to help repair and build muscle fibers. So, with that being said, how much protein do we really need to help support muscle growth, or at the very least prevent sarcopenia, which is degenerative loss of muscle tissue as we age? Well, one of the prevailing mindsets that many guys have that I want you to distance yourself from is the idea that if some is good, more is better. This notion not only is not true, but it's leading to diminishing returns with the amount of results that you could and should be getting from the hard work you're putting in inside the gym. In my experience of working one-on-one with guys who are trying to dial in their diets, oftentimes they are consuming more protein than is necessary. For guys that are trying to lean up, you have to remember that excess consumption factors into your ultimate need to create a caloric deficit to support fat loss. Now, for the guys who, let's say, are trying to build more muscle or improve physical performance inside the gym with heavy lifts, they might be better suited to consume more carbohydrates that support optimal muscular contraction than a surplus of protein on a daily basis. So with these parameters in play, I like to go with what the science tells us more so than the popular opinion of a professional bodybuilder who likely has different goals as well as different things helping to fuel his or her results. And what the science tells us is that the old and outdated notion that 1.5, or even 2 grams per pound of body weight per day of protein is way more than what our body needs in order to support the goals we've got and the purpose that protein serves in the first place. Here's the truth of the matter. And again, this isn't my opinion. This is what hard scientific facts tell us is true. The NSCA, as well as Mayo Clinic, both of which are pretty trustworthy entities within the health and wellness field, suggest that an active male who lifts consistently, so any power athlete like you or me, should shoot for consuming on average between 1.2 and 1.7 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Keyword there, kilogram. So to give you an example, for me, a male who consistently lifts and who weighs 225 pounds, I'll divide my body weight in pounds by 2.2 to get my weight in kilos, which comes out to 102, and to find my daily protein consumption allotment, I'll multiply that number by the higher end of that range discussed earlier, 1.7 grams per kilo per day. I do that given the fact that at my age, sarcopenia is a concern. So the meathead math for me comes out to about 175 grams of protein per per day total. And what I do to steadily supply my lean muscle mass with the aminos it needs throughout the day to support maintenance or even growth is divvy that up equally with each of the 4 meals that I consume throughout any given day. So on a meal by meal basis, which is how I like to urge everybody to map their meals out, I'll typically consume roughly 40 grams of protein. It's just that simple. Weigh yourself, divide that weight in pounds by 2.2 to get your weight in kilos, multiply that number by 1.7 if you're 40 or older, then divide that number by the number of meals you plan on eating that day to get each meal's allotment for protein. Now, when you take that time to actually perform this meathead math, I'm willing to bet that many of you are consuming a surplus of protein. And if that's the case, it's important for you to remember that a surplus won't be used for the primary function that protein has. That excess or surplus protein consumption will either be broken down into ATP for muscular contraction, or further down the line, if not used for contraction, stored as body fat, neither of which are ideal or optimal. So do yourself a favor. Stop cramming down an entire rotisserie or the old 96er during each meal, and instead run your personal meathead math using the equation I discussed earlier to figure out the amount of protein you truly need to support the muscle that you have and are looking to build with the workouts that you work so hard for. Hey guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and want more videos that cover the type of diet tips that will help facilitate better and faster overall results from the type of intense workouts that I share here, then be sure to leave your questions, suggestions, or even critiques of what I covered today down in the comments section below. I've always maintained that this channel isn't just about me and what I do for a living, but more so about giving and how I can positively impact your lives by way of sharing tips that will help you achieve your best results possible. So don't be shy. If you want me to cover something specific in future videos, then chime in down below and I'll put something together for you. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. MANdler.